Welcome to another episode of the NHCFAE Podcast. I am your host, Hilda Cortes. Today's episode is special. We're celebrating the success of one of our very own members, Migdalia Gonzalez. From a distinguished federal career to becoming the author of Dancing into Opportunity, the Rhythm of Effective Communication, Migdalia has taken the experience and turned it into a message that inspires professionals everywhere. Welcome, Migdalia.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm proud to be a member of the organization, even though I'm no longer part of the FAA, but wonderful to be part of the membership of the NHCFAE.
And we thank you. You've had an incredible career, Migdalia, from your first time as federal service to now being an author, speaker, transformational coach. What inspired this new chapter in your life?
The author was an idea I've had for actually 8.5 years. I was invited by my son to speak at Rutgers University for the Young Professionals group. The session was titled Effective Communications. I told them communications is a dance. Everyone has different rhythms, but you just got to figure out how they work so that you can connect, right? Everybody's going to be different. It doesn't matter. If I dance salsa in Puerto Rico, it's going to be dance style different than Colombia. Or if I go to Venezuela, or if you go to Argentina, they do the tango. Everybody has their own, or like cumbia. Cumbia in Mexico is a different style than cumbia in Colombia, right? So it's always a different thing. And he made me promise that I should write a book on it. And that's what I did. It took me a while to write. The reason was me being a mom and his passing. It was a promise kept. And once the door to the FAA closed, it was time to finish the book.
That's a beautiful story. And your son, the promise you made to your son. How did you come up with Dancing into Opportunity?
When I was younger.
You're still young.
Well, my body would tell me otherwise, but my body's like, sit down for a minute. You can't do that too long. I've always loved dance. I love music. I love watching it. I love all kinds of music. But to me, the dance, believe it or not, historically is the oldest communication method, whether it's Native American, Vikings, or all different cultures have dance. In Hawaii, if you see a Hawaiian dancer, their movements mean something. I love to dance. Even when I had a bad foot, the first question I asked the doctor was, can I still dance? And he was like, how about let's start walking first? I was like, I got that part. I just want to know if I could dance. And so what better way to show that connection? Because all of us, it doesn't matter who. Even if you think you don't dance, you'll tap your foot to a beat. You have a song that reminds you of someone, or all of us have the song when we had our first heart broken, right? So all of us have that.
Yes, we do.
Everybody. It doesn't matter what language. How many of us go to Jamaica or go to a country that has reggae music and all of a sudden all of us are reggae dancers, right? It's because music connects us. Music touches a part of us you cannot see. I was talking to a doctor recently. She advises them to dance, to get up every morning and dance a few steps. It triggers something in the brain that makes you happier.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I knew what I was talking about.
You're like, I want to dance before I can walk.
Absolutely. And it's true. Even when you're in a bad mood, if you throw on a great song, you're like, okay, let's do this. I got this. So we all have that song that bumps us up. Even military folks, if you speak to them, they're like, oh no, we used to have a song for our troop, and when we were going out to do our job, we would pump ourselves up with that. So it's
Motivation.
like a boxer. We all know the Rocky song.
For me, it would be cumbia. For me, it would be cumbia.
But all of us have that where we hear a song, New Yorkers. When we hear New York by Alicia Keys, everybody's like, whoa, we're in New York. Or if you go to Cali, they have a song, you hear it, and everybody's like, that's a Cali song. Everybody starts doing the little crip walk or whatever. But, it is what it is.
In Texas.
That's it, right? Everybody.
Yes.
Even people who don't listen to country music know the song Jolene.
Yes, you're right.
There's a huge famous Mexican singer that used to sing a lot of songs like Bash. Man, I forgot her name.
I know.
You know, right? People are like, oh, we know that song. Even though none of us may be Mexican, we know that song because we're like,
Yes, for sure.
yeah.
So, Migdalia, let's get into the framework of the book. I hear there's steps on how that people often struggle with are mentioned.
I wanted the book to provide real actionable steps, if that makes sense, right? Because what happens is we're quick to be like, oh, that's a great book. Really? Is it? Did you learn anything from it? How can we get better at it? Like, what is it that I need to do, right? So in the book, we talk about how do you do it as a dancer, right? As a solo dancer, just you. Or we'll talk about how do you do it in duets? What does that look like, that interaction between you and someone else? The hardest one to do is that duet, that one-on-one. But you need to find out what your rhythm is. You cannot be effective in talking to people if you don't know where you are, what your style is. If I was a leader and I decided to be like, you know what, Hilda, you better do what I say, da-da-da, and you're going to be like,
Yeah, no.
no, that's not going to work. As opposed to saying, hey, Hilda, let's sit down and talk for a minute. What is it that you like? What is it that you would love to do? Because then as a leader, I would know how to better tap into that talent. There's something called appreciative inquiry, and I happen to be certified in it. And it's a really simple concept. And it is use the talent you are surrounded by. So if I know that Hilda or Anna or Kirby or Melanie, they're all data folks. They know how to do data. That's not my thing. So if I'm going to get a staff together, what I'm going to do is find somebody who doesn't do what I do. That way we balance each other out. So when you talk about these steps, you have to find out what your rhythm is, figure out what that looks like. And then what you got to do is figure out what are your basic steps? What are you comfortable with? Not everybody's a dancer, right? You know that you'll go out and you go to a club and you'll see someone and you're like, what the heck is wrong with that person? They look like they're having a seizure, right? But they're not. They're dancing in their own head. That's what I love about this new trend with the Gen Zs where they have listening parties where each person has their own music. But when you see them, they look like they're crazy because they're just.
I experienced that this weekend, and I did not know what they were doing. I saw people with headphones. I'm like, what are they doing? I turned to my younger sister. I'm like, what are they doing? They're like, it's silent disco. Each person has their rhythm. I love that. I just experienced it this weekend.
It's a wonderful thing, at the conference in Puerto Rico, some young kids from the college. One of them was Costa Rican. He was telling me they were trying to teach him how to do merengue. And I said, hey, I'm going to give you a trick. He said, what? I said, limp on one leg. He was like, what? I said, just limp on one leg and you'll see it works. In 2 seconds, he got it. So everybody's different. You got to find out what your basic steps are, because if you're not comfortable where you stand, how do you expect someone else to feel comfortable with you? Our bodies are traders. If we think something in our brain, it's going to manifest itself in how we stand or how we approach somebody, right? I always tell people, I'm sorry, my face says everything. I'm sorry, because even though I try, and I'm an old lady already, and even though I try, I'm like, everybody knows if they see me go like this to my eyebrows is because my face is about to, what are you talking about? So you got to figure out your basic steps are. Then you got to figure out what your partner is. Who is that person that you're communicating with? What is important to them? How do they work? Our eyes, we have a wonderful gift of sight. So your body, you can assess what's going on, not assume, assess what's going on. Who are the players? Because most people who bark loud are not the ones who make things happen.
Yeah.
My father would say, a real man doesn't speak to speak. He only speaks when he has something to say.
Yeah, you're right. And he was right.
It doesn't matter, right? So
Yes.
for me, my integrity is the most important thing. My word is like the most important thing. Why? I want people to know that if Migdalia is a little crazy or a taskmaster, but she's fair, right? And she listens, or she's a compassionate leader. That's what you want. You want when people, it's funny, Maya Angelou has a quote, and I'm paraphrasing it. People will never remember the job you held, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Yes, you're right.
And a leader, wherever you're at, people are watching how you treat others. So you have to know that. You have to be confident, but then you have to know who you're dealing with. What is it they like? What is it? We always get into this negotiation and communications like it's always, I got to beat you. I got to have the last word. It's sometimes better just to listen. Never assume. A couple of ladies from the Puerto Rican, the San Juan Tower, making fun of me because I'm like, okay, wait, hold up. Help me understand what you're trying to say. We all hear things differently, so you got to really know what's going on, right? Then you got to rehearse and practice, practice, practice. People hate to practice. They're like, I got this. These cell phones. You could record yourself, edit it, do whatever, and practice, right? As you grow in your careers, as you develop relationships, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And for us, especially Latinos, we don't like that uncomfortable zone. I want to see what's coming, right? But you can't see what's coming if your house is in order, right? You can't build the house on sand. You got to build it on concrete. Why? So that stays up stronger. If you're in Florida, you know you got to build a certain kind of way to protect it against the winds, right? So you're assessing the situation, right? Then you're going to perform. And perform meaning that you're going to be present. If you didn't practice, don't try now, right? You,
Well,
listen,
you mentioned as Latinos, we tend not to like to feel uncomfortable. But what I would say to that also as Latinos, we don't like to feel uncomfortable, but we're willing to feel uncomfortable because we're go-getters. We
yes.
love success. We don't say no to almost anything. We want to be recognized. Like you also mentioned compassion. For our listeners, many might not know, but compassion is something Migdalia this year during our conference, she said part of the proceeds of these books sold during this conference will go to our scholarships. We thank you, Migdalia, for that as well. So it's not, oh, I have a book. She also gives back. She donated jewelry for our silent auction. So that shows the person that's writing this book. She's not only a professional, she's compassionate. She loves to give back. So we thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for that acknowledgement. However, because of the times that we are in, right? Nothing is free. Everything costs money. And with all the changes, we have to reach deep down and not just say, hey, let me be part of this organization and let me pay my membership fees. But what more can I do to help others, right? And I know that scholarship program that NHCFAE has. And if you don't know, National Hispanic Coalition of Federal Aviation Employees. But those kids, now more than ever, we who have sort of made it, right, that we're in the adult money stage, as my friend Michelle says, then we have to say, what else can I do? If I wrote this book, why can't I use it to help an organization out? And it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm just about to send the check over to Misty for the foundation. I also went to a school, and the school is 40% homeless. 40% homeless in the United States. And they're all Black and brown kids. I'm working with the principal to see how we can use the book to fund her projects. Because at the end of the day, even they're, falling behind. And if the kids are already on the negative, what else can I do? Like I would love to tag team with the kids and write a dancing into opportunity book for kids.
That would be amazing.
Our kids are stuck on this all day long, right? So we need to teach them how to communicate with others outside of
And that's
internet.
something they need to learn to communicate for sure. It really helps them not only during their school career, but in their future to network with others and not
Right.
just, like you said, assume that they won't be able to go into a career that they might be interested in. Yeah, you're right.
Because on paper, listen, on paper, I could say I'm Jennifer Lopez. That's my joke, right? But the reality is I'm not. And so when I fell into this, and really this career of speaking and training was by accident. Really, as my grandmother would say, if you drop her in the cemetery, she'd talk to dead people. She'd talk to everybody. But people are fascinating to me. You get to learn so much. I was only at the FAA 3 years. And I met you, Oscar, Anna, Karen, Nate, and Eric. So many wonderful people at the agencies. Whether it's an agency or a regular job, it's an opportunity. Not everybody knows everything. You need to surround yourself with people who know stuff that you don't know. That way you can continue growing. The minute you become a leader and think you know everything,
You don't.
is when you fail. Right? Remember that appreciative inquiry thing I mentioned? It's about putting a circle in a square. No. Why can't you find somebody who's already a square and put the circle to do circle work? Right? Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. Like you, Migdalia, should never be on an Excel spreadsheet. It's not my favorite thing. I hate those things. Doesn't mean I can't do it. Just not my thing.
I'm here for you.
But that is a great example to what happened when we went to Texas A&M International University in Laredo,
Yes.
right? Migdalia couldn't walk straight and fell down the stairs coming off the stage. If it wasn't for you, Lydia, Maria, I was confident. I knew you guys had it, even though I never worked with you on an everyday basis. Does that make sense? Why? Because you ask questions, I ask questions. I never denied you information. I'm like, here, you handle it. I didn't want to clip your wings. I wanted Hilda to soar, not Migdalia. I fell right down the stairs, right? But it served as a great opportunity for you, Maria, and Lydia.
It did. There were so many people, and we got to speak and go through the presentation. Of course, we were worried about, we were like, okay, what's going to happen to Migdalia? But it was a great opportunity, and it put us in a spot where we were not the persons that were going to present, but we're here. And like you said, Hispanic is like, we're here, we're uncomfortable, but let's do this. You're right.
Right. And you did that. And how great was that? That shows what you mentioned about my leadership style, right? I'm all about how can I help you get better? Where do you want to go next? What can I do to help you get to where you need to go? And it's funny, I received a feedback from the book and from someone who sort of threw me off. It was my brother-in-law. And my brother-in-law is a pastor of this huge mega church in Connecticut, and he just retired. And he said, I never realized that I would always say what God wants, what my boss wants, what my wife wants. He goes, but when you said that every day is a choice and every step I make belongs to me and no one else, he said that was like, he put in an email, he made me cry. It threw me off. I was like, when did he get the book? I didn't give him the book yet. It's that, what do we call him? I call mine Bruno, but the imposter syndrome, I didn't want to send the book because this is what goes through our head. I'm not going to send them the book because he'd be like, oh, she thinks she's all that because she sent me a book. No, that's not the reason, but it's like,
I want you to read my book.
Yeah, I want you to read my book to tell me the truth. And it's funny because someone said, I really would like your feedback. I sent it to this individual because she's a PhD in education, a big writer. I wanted to make sure, please tell me this makes sense. When she wrote me back and she was like, this is a really good, precise book. I was like, what? It's like, oh, she goes, Meg, you're really good at writing. I was like,
Oh, okay.
okay. I guess I do know something.
It is a good book. I read the book and I have a signed copy.
Yes, you do.
And it's an amazing book. You got feedback from your brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you received any additional feedback of how they've used the book in their professional environment of others?
Well, it's funny because the first group to get the book was the NHC at the national conference. I had one of the members, I should probably read it out loud. She's probably going to kill me. But she wrote something. She said, I just finished reading Dancing into Opportunity by my mentor and dear friend Migdalia, and I'm truly inspired. Her insights beautifully show how communication, much like dance, is about listening, timing, and genuine connection. Through her words, she shares not just her wisdom, but her heart. The same heart she brings to her work, her mentorship, and every interaction. I was crying like a baby. And then she said, I'm so inspired. Your insights beautifully show. She said, thank you for sharing. This book is a true reflection of the way you lead, teach, and uplift those around you. I was done for the day. I couldn't talk to me. I was like, don't talk to me. I did it.
You should have said,
It's like today,
you're an amazing human being. I appreciate your friendship, mentorship, everything that you've done for the coalition, for the students. Something else that they might not know about you is that she holds workshops for resume writing for the students that want to apply for federal jobs. She's amazing overall. So, with this, I would want to ask, what's next for Migdalia? Another book?
yes. So what I'd like to do is the Dancing into Opportunity to become a series.
Okay.
So I'm going to address different topics for each book. And I made them, if you remember, the book is small and I did it on purpose so it could fit in a pocketbook, backpack, or pocket so it could be effective. A few folks have asked me to create a journal for it. So I'm going to do that. And I'm actually going to be kicking off the podcast for Dancing into Opportunity, where we'll be discussing how folks have stepped into opportunities. Some of us have had to battle every step of the way. Some of us have had some luck. Some of it was by accident, like me stepping into training and speaking and all that kind of stuff. The one thing that I will say, whatever it is that I do, is always going to be part of how do I help and give back to the community, right? Because at the end of the day, my star, I already did it. I got to a GS-15. I was a direct, been there, done that, right? So now what can I do with my time to help where it really matters? Right now, our youth matters. How do we get them to understand they are enough, that it's okay to be different? Hello, if you didn't know my name and saw my face, you would never think I was Migdalia Gonzalez, right? Everybody's like, oh, you're Italian, you're this, you're that. No, I'm Latina. But it's always about how do I help? I remember going to corporate for the first time and not having anybody I could talk to in my family or friends who knew somebody in corporate. My father was a bodeguero. My grandmother was a seamstress. My mother was the first one who actually got a state job. But how do we behave? How do we change? Or how do you deal with someone when they're like, your name is Migdalia, you should change that. I'm like, wow. No, I used to tell my mother, I was like, was I bad child or something that you gave me that name, Migdalia? Because nobody gets the name, right? Only the 3 islands, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico, they're the only ones who use the name. But the ironic part, Migdal means Hebrew for tower of strength.
There you go.
And I was like, no, I'm an exploding flower. Mig, like the Russian Mig in the flower. I like to blow things up. And that's not true. I'm just kidding. But Hilda, I'm going to send you a link. So if anybody else buys the book, they can put the code NHCFAE and it will continue to support the foundation.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. The board and all our members really appreciate everything that you do with our youth, with our members. You're a great mentor. So thank you.
Thank you.
So anything else you want to say to our members, to anybody out there that is looking forward to reading your book?
Just remember, life is hard all by itself. Make the decision, make the choice to dance through it. Because if not, it will impede you or stop you from reaching your goals. If you stay in the negative, which is easy to do, it's real easy to stay in the negative. but you have to say, it doesn't have me. It doesn't beat me. I have something to offer and I'm going to figure out a way to do it. So just let's dance. Let's keep going. Let's have some
Yes.
fun.
Let's Thank you. And thank you for sharing your story,
Thank
your
you.
heart, and the beautiful rhythm of your work with us today. For those listening, Dancing into Opportunity is available now, and it is a must read for anybody who wants to communicate, lead, and live with more awareness. You can find the book in the description and connect with Migdalia for speaking engagements or coaching. And as always, visit nhcfa.org to learn how our organization continues to uplift, mentor, and inspire aviation professionals across every stage of their journey. Thank you.